This is part 1 of Federalist number 18. I hope you had a chance to watch video 203. I give a general introduction to Federalist 18, 19, 20, and actually talk more about what we can learn from studying the lead up to the American Civil War, as well as the lead up to World War I and World War II. Those are extremely important. When we go through this Federalist and the next two, just remember that now we have so much resources to study the last 2 centuries. Those resources, the study of the last 2 centuries, will be extremely helpful for us to go forward. These confederacies that are in the ancient time that James Madison studied, his resources were limited. He'd done a good job, but keep in mind that the resources were limited, so he did not know every angle of the history. But we do now. We know at least up to 40 years ago. Okay, the history of the last 2 centuries, the documents are out, and we can study it. We can, right now, PBS television is airing Ken Burns and Lynn Novick's series on the Vietnam War. And a lot of the documents are out, and they're doing a wonderful job studying it, showing people in an artistic way. This way we can learn what the shortcomings of the government was, what the dark areas were, what was this crazy idea, they called it the domino theory, and being scared of communism, how America got itself involved in places it shouldn't have. And all the wars prior to that. We can study it, we can learn the history of the world. And that should be a wonderful resource. So when we go forward and decide to unite, we'll be knowledgeable. Okay, let me read a part of Federalist number 18 for you. Among the confederacies of antiquity, the most considerable was that of the Grecian Republics, associated under the Amphictyonic Council. From the best accounts transmitted of this celebrated institution, it bore a very instructive analogy to the present Confederation of the American States. So it says we are reading the Grecian republics of old ancient Greece, and one of the examples that we can study is Amphictyonic League, and he says from what we can see it resembles, it's like the Articles of Confederation that we live under, and we find it not to be a good one. Remember, Articles of Confederation is the first constitution of the United States that the founders of this country are trying to replace it with the new constitution, and that's why they wrote the Federalist Papers. The members retained the character of independent and sovereign states and had equal votes in the Federal Council. This council had a general authority to propose and resolve whatever it judged necessary for the common welfare of Greece, to declare and carry war, to decide in the last resort all controversy between the members, to find the aggressing party, to employ the whole force of the Confederacy against the disobedient, to admit new members. So it says, in theory, when we look at this confederacy, this Amphictyonic Confederacy, it was a good one. It did so many things. It declared war and peace. If a member disobeyed the agreement that they all had made, they would have punished that neighbor. And it lists all the other things that they did to members who would not follow the rules, as well as talk about their rights. The Amphictyons were the guardians of religion and of the immense riches belonging to the temple of Delphos, where they had the right of jurisdiction